We've all heard the phrase chosen ones, and many of us have wondered, what does that really mean? Is it just a title given to those who seem extraordinary? Or is there something deeper, something spiritual that separates the chosen ones from the rest of the world? God warned us about this long ago, and only those who carry a special sign are the ones truly marked as chosen. But what is that sign? Why are some selected while others are not? Today we're going to dive deep into the mystery behind it. You see, throughout history, God has spoken to humanity through signs, messages embedded in the natural world, in our dreams, and even in the events that shape our lives. But here's where it gets interesting: not everyone can see these signs. Not everyone is attuned to the subtle vibrations of divine communication. Only a few, those we call the chosen ones, have this heightened awareness, this spiritual attunement. They carry the sign, not as a physical mark, but as a spiritual energy that radiates from their very being. You may not even realize you're one of them yet. But I'll tell you this: if you're watching this video, chances are you're starting to feel it. The chosen ones are not like everyone else. They're different, and not in a way that's always immediately obvious. They carry an inner knowing, a sense of purpose that often feels both overwhelming and mysterious. It's as if they've been sent on a mission, even if they're not entirely sure what that mission is. But God warned us there is a specific sign that the chosen ones carry, and if you're listening closely, you might begin to recognize it in yourself.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Have you ever felt out of place? Like you don't belong in this world? Maybe you felt like you're here for a reason, but that reason isn't tied to the everyday routines that most people seem content with. This is the first clue, the first indication that you might be carrying the sign. God often chooses those who feel like outsiders because they're the ones with the courage to challenge the status quo, to bring new light into the darkness. This sense of alienation, of not fitting in, is not a curse, it's a sign. It's God's way of saying, you are meant for something greater. But here's the thing: many people overlook this sign. They think, I'm just different, or I don't belong, and they let that feeling of separation lead them into self-doubt. They start believing that something is wrong with them. But what if, instead, that feeling of being different is your calling? What if it's God's way of separating you from the ordinary, preparing you for the extraordinary? Let me ask you this: have you ever experienced moments where you felt like the universe was speaking directly to you? Maybe through synchronicities, like numbers appearing repeatedly, or certain messages showing up at exactly the right time. These aren't coincidences. These are signs, signals from the divine that you are on the path of the chosen ones. God warned us that the chosen ones would receive messages in this way, and it's up to you to pay attention. The second sign that chosen ones carry is a deep sense of empathy. They feel the weight of the world in ways that others do not. It's as if they are tuned into the suffering of humanity, to the pain of the earth, to the struggles of others. This empathy is not always easy to bear. It can feel like a heavy burden, like an emotional weight that never lifts. But that, too, is part of the sign. God chooses those who can carry this weight because they are the ones who can transform it. If you find yourself overwhelmed by the emotions of others, or if you feel like you're constantly absorbing the energy of the world around you, this might be your sign. It's a clue that you've been chosen to help heal this planet. But let's take it even deeper. Chosen ones often experience what I call the calling of isolation. Have you ever felt like you're walking a lonely path? That no matter how many people are around you, no one truly understands what you're going through. This isolation is part of the journey of the chosen ones. God often separates the chosen from the crowd, not as a punishment, but as preparation. Think about it, great spiritual leaders, prophets, and sages often spent time in isolation before stepping into their true purpose. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert. Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree in solitude. This pattern repeats itself over and over because isolation is where transformation happens. Now, let's go even deeper. The chosen ones often go through what I call spiritual testing. Have you noticed that your life has been filled with challenges that seem almost too heavy to bear? It's as if you've been tested again and again, and each time you come out on the other side, you're a little stronger, a little wiser. This is no accident. God warned us that the chosen ones would be tested, not to break them, but to refine them. Think of it like this: diamonds are formed under pressure. The same goes for the chosen ones. The sign you carry is forged through adversity, through the trials that shape you into the person you're meant to be. But here's the real question: are you aware of these tests? Do you recognize them for what they are, or do you see them as random misfortunes? This is crucial, because the way you view your challenges will determine how you move forward. If you see them as a curse, you'll feel stuck. But if you see them as part of your spiritual training, you'll begin to rise above them. You'll start to understand that every hardship is preparing you for something greater, something divine. Let's pause here and reflect for a moment. Do you see any of these signs in your own life? Have you experienced feelings of isolation, deep empathy, or spiritual testing? If so, I want you to consider that maybe, just maybe, you're one of the chosen ones. Maybe you've been carrying this sign all along without realizing it. Now, let's take this journey to the next level. We've talked about the initial signs, the feeling of being different, the deep empathy, the calling of isolation, and the spiritual tests. But there's something more, something that only the chosen ones carry. It's a mark, not visible to the naked eye, but felt deep within. It's the mark of divine purpose. Have you ever felt like your life is meant for something bigger, something beyond just the day-to-day grind? Maybe you've had moments where you feel like there's a pull on your soul, a magnetic force drawing you towards something you can't quite define. That's the mark of divine purpose, and it's one of the clearest signs that you've been chosen. But here's the thing: recognizing this mark requires you to trust your intuition. Too often, we ignore the quiet voice within us, the one that whispers, "You're here for more." We get caught up in the noise of the world, in the expectations of society, and we forget to listen to the guidance that comes from deep inside. If you're one of the chosen ones, you need to start paying attention to that voice. It's leading you toward your mission, toward the reason you were placed on this earth. Have you ever had dreams that felt so real, so vivid, that they seemed to be delivering a message? Dreams are another way that God communicates with the chosen ones. These aren't just random images your mind creates while you sleep. They are messages from the divine, guiding you, warning you, and preparing you for the road ahead. If you've had dreams that left you feeling shaken, or if you've experienced recurring dreams that seem to hold a deeper meaning, you might be carrying the mark. But there's more to this mark than just dreams and intuition. The chosen ones often experience what I call divine disruption. This is when your life seems to be going in one direction, and then out of nowhere everything changes. It could be a sudden loss, a dramatic shift in your circumstances, or a moment of crisis that forces you to reevaluate everything. At the time, it feels like your world is falling apart, but in reality, it's falling into place. God disrupts the lives of the chosen ones to realign them with their purpose. As we continue to dive deeper into understanding the signs that only the chosen ones carry, we arrive at one of the most profound and often misunderstood experiences: divine disruption. If you're one of the chosen ones, you've likely experienced this in some way, a moment when your life seemed to crumble, when everything you knew was turned upside down. Maybe it was the loss of a job, a sudden illness, a breakup, or even a spiritual crisis that made you question everything. At the time, it felt like the universe was working against you. But here's what you need to realize: divine disruptions are actually sacred interventions. God warned us that chosen ones would experience these disruptions as part of their spiritual evolution. It's not a punishment, it's a realignment. When you're living out of alignment with your higher purpose, the universe has a way of shaking things up, of forcing you to re-examine your path. It's almost as if God is saying, "You're too far off course. Let me bring you back." These disruptions are often painful, but they serve a higher purpose. They strip away the things that are no longer serving you so that you can step into your true calling. Let me ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever looked back on a moment of crisis in your life and realized that it was actually a blessing in disguise? Maybe it didn't feel that way at the time, but later you could see how that experience led you to where you are now. That's the sacred power of divine disruption. It's a force that breaks down the old to make way for the new. But here's where it gets even more profound. These disruptions often come with a choice. When your world is turned upside down, you have two options: resist or surrender. Most people resist. They try to hold on to what's familiar, even if it's no longer serving them. But the chosen ones know that surrender is the key. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting that there is a higher plan at work, even when you can't see it. It means letting go of your need to control every detail and allowing the universe to guide you toward your true path. Think about it. How many times have you tried to force something to work, only to be met with resistance at every turn? And how many times have you finally let go, only to have everything fall into place in ways you never could have imagined? This is the power of surrender. It's a sign that you're operating from a place of faith, trusting that the divine is guiding you, even when the road ahead seems unclear. The chosen ones are marked by their ability to navigate these disruptions with grace. They know that the breakdown is part of the breakthrough. They understand that before the light can fully enter, the darkness must be faced. And here's a deep truth: the greater your disruption, the greater your mission. God doesn't give these challenges to just anyone. They're reserved for those who are being prepared for something extraordinary. So, if you're going through a period of disruption right now, I want you to pause and reflect. Could this be a sacred realignment? Could this be the universe stripping away the things that no longer serve you to make space for something greater? Are you resisting the change, or are you willing to surrender and trust that this is part of your journey as a chosen one? Now, let's explore one of the most powerful aspects of this journey: the sign of inner transformation. This is perhaps the most subtle, yet most profound, sign that chosen ones carry. It's not something you can see with your eyes, but something you feel deep within. Over time, as you move through these divine disruptions, you start to notice a shift in how you view the world, how you interact with others, and how you see yourself, you begin to realize that you are no longer the same person you once were. This inner transformation is the result of the spiritual alchemy that takes place within the chosen ones. It's the process of turning the lead of your old life into the gold of your new, higher self. But this transformation is not always easy. It often requires you to face your deepest fears, your unresolved wounds, and the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. But as you do this inner work, you begin to see the world through new eyes. Have you ever noticed that your perspective on life has shifted? Maybe the things that used to bother you no longer affect you. Maybe you've developed a deep sense of inner peace, even in the midst of chaos. Or perhaps you've found that your relationships have changed, and you're no longer attracted to the same people or situations that once held your attention. This is a sign that you're undergoing the transformation that all chosen ones must go through. But here's the thing: inner transformation is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. As a chosen one, you will continue to evolve, to shed old layers of yourself, and to step more fully into your purpose. And with each layer you shed, you become more attuned to the divine, more aligned with your mission, and more capable of fulfilling the role that you've been chosen for. Let's pause here for a moment. Do you feel like you're in the midst of an inner transformation? Have you noticed subtle shifts in your awareness, your emotions, or your relationships? If so, take it as a sign that you're on the right path. You're being shaped, molded, and prepared for something greater than you can imagine. We've now arrived at the deepest, most profound part of this journey. We've explored the signs that chosen ones carry: the sense of being different, the deep empathy, the isolation, the spiritual tests, the divine disruptions, and the inner transformation. But all of these signs are leading to one ultimate truth: the chosen ones are here for a final mission, a mission that transcends the material world and touches the very essence of the divine. What is that mission? It's simple, yet profound. The chosen ones are here to unleash the divine within themselves and, in doing so, help others do the same. This is the ultimate sign that you carry the ability to embody the divine in human form. It's not about being perfect or enlightened. It's about being real, being present, and being a channel for the divine energy that flows through you. You see, God warned us that the chosen ones would be the carriers of this divine energy. They would be the ones to bring light into the world, to uplift humanity, and to guide others on their own spiritual journeys. But this mission is not for the faint of heart. It requires you to step into your power fully, to embrace your divine potential, and to live your life with purpose and intention. Let me ask you this: are you ready to embrace this mission? Are you ready to stop playing small and start living as the divine being that you are? This is the ultimate test for the chosen ones. It's not enough to recognize the signs, you must also take action. You must step into your role as a leader, a healer, a guide, or a creator. You must use your gifts to serve the world, to bring more love, light, and wisdom into every corner of your life. But here's the key: you can't do this from a place of ego. The chosen ones are not here to elevate themselves, but to elevate humanity. They are not here for fame, power, or recognition. They are here to serve, to be vessels for the divine, to act as conduits for something greater than themselves. And this is the final sign: humility. True chosen ones are marked by their deep humility, their understanding that they are simply instruments of the divine. They know that their power comes not from themselves, but from the source that flows through them. They don't seek validation or approval because they know that their worth comes from within. So let me ask you one last time, are you ready to step into this role? Are you willing to carry the sign that God has placed on your soul? Are you prepared to live as a chosen one, not for your own sake, but for the sake of the world? The path ahead is not easy, but it is sacred. It's a path that only a few are chosen to walk. But if you're here, if you've resonated with these words, then I believe you are one of the chosen ones. You carry the sign. You've been marked by the divine. Now, it's time to fulfill your mission. As you step into this awareness, recognizing that you are one of the chosen ones, you may begin to ask yourself, how do I live out this calling in the modern world? In a society driven by materialism, distractions, and noise, how can you embrace your sacred mission and still navigate the demands of everyday life? This is where many chosen ones struggle, not because they lack the inner strength or wisdom, but because the world we live in isn't designed to nurture spiritual awakening. Yet, this is exactly why you're here. The chosen ones are not meant to retreat into isolation, hiding away from the chaos of the world. No, you are meant to stand in the middle of it, strong, grounded, and fully aware of your divine purpose. God warned us that this time would come, a time when the world would be filled with distractions, temptations, and challenges that would make it difficult to remain centered. But the sign you carry, the sign that marks you as one of the chosen ones, also gives you the ability to rise above it all. You are here to bring light into the dark places. You are here to show others that it is possible to live a life of purpose, even in a world that seems to have lost its way. But here's the challenge: to do that, you must first master yourself. You must cultivate a deep inner strength that allows you to remain true to your mission, no matter what obstacles come your way. Let me ask you this: how often do you find yourself getting pulled off course by the distractions of the modern world? Maybe it's social media, news, or the endless cycle of consumerism that pulls you away from your inner peace. These are the tools of the modern age, and while they aren't inherently bad, they can easily become distractions if you're not mindful. As a chosen one, you must develop the ability to use these tools without letting them control you. One of the most important practices for the chosen ones is mindfulness, staying aware of where your energy is going at all times. The world is full of energies that will try to pull you off your path, but mindfulness helps you stay grounded. It helps you stay in alignment with your mission, even when the world around you is chaotic. You have to remember that your energy is sacred. Where you place your attention matters, because it shapes the reality you create. But mindfulness is just the beginning. The chosen ones must also cultivate a strong connection to their inner guidance. This is where the sign of divine intuition comes into play. Have you ever felt a deep sense of knowing, an inner voice that guides you, even when logic tells you otherwise? That's your intuition, the direct line to the divine. As one of the chosen ones, your intuition is one of your greatest gifts, but it requires trust and practice to fully develop. Too often, we second-guess our intuition because it doesn't always make sense in a logical world. We doubt ourselves, we listen to the opinions of others, and we ignore that quiet voice within. But the chosen ones are called to trust their inner guidance, to follow it even when it leads them down an unfamiliar path. This is part of the divine sign. You carry the ability to navigate life not just through intellect, but through spiritual wisdom. Now, here's a profound question: how often do you listen to your intuition? Do you trust it, or do you dismiss it in favor of what's rational? As a chosen one, your intuition is like a compass, pointing you toward your true north. But if you ignore it, you risk wandering off course. Developing this trust in your inner voice is one of the most important steps you can take on your journey. And let's not forget the power of community. While the chosen ones often walk a solitary path, that doesn't mean they're meant to do it alone. In fact, one of the signs of the chosen ones is that they naturally attract others who are on a similar journey. Have you noticed that certain people seem to gravitate toward you, drawn by your energy, your wisdom, or your presence? This isn't by accident. God warned us that the chosen ones would gather together, even if they don't realize it at first. You see, chosen ones recognize each other not always consciously, but on a deeper spiritual level. There's an unspoken understanding, a shared sense of purpose. This is why it's so important to connect with others who are on a similar path. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals helps you stay grounded, inspired, and focused on your mission. When you find your spiritual tribe, you'll notice that your energy multiplies. Together, you can achieve more, create more, and spread more light than you ever could alone. But be mindful of who you allow into your inner circle. Not everyone who claims to be on a spiritual path is truly aligned with the divine. Some are attracted to the light, but are not ready to carry it themselves. As a chosen one, you must develop the discernment to recognize those who are genuinely walking the path and those who are not. This discernment is another sign you carry a deep inner knowing that allows you to see through illusion and recognize the truth. So I ask you, are you surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support your spiritual growth? Or are there people in your life who drain your energy, pulling you away from your purpose? As you step more fully into your role as a chosen one, you will find that certain relationships fall away. This isn't a bad thing, it's a natural part of your evolution. The more aligned you become with your purpose, the more you will attract those who are meant to walk alongside you. Finally, let's talk about the most important aspect of living as a chosen one in the modern world: your mission. Each chosen one has a unique mission, a divine purpose that only they can fulfill. But here's the key: your mission isn't about achieving some grand external success. It's not about fame, recognition, or material wealth. Your mission is about embodying the divine in everything you do, in every moment of your life. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. Far from it. It means being fully present, fully human, and fully aligned with your higher self. It means living with intention, making choices that reflect your deepest values, and using your gifts to serve others. Your mission might be as simple as spreading love and kindness in your daily interactions, or it might involve creating something that transforms the lives of thousands. Whatever it is, it's unique to you, and it's exactly what the world needs. Let me ask you this final question: do you know what your mission is? Have you taken the time to connect with your higher self, to ask what you're truly here to do? If not, now is the time. The world is in need of the light that only you can bring, and the sooner you step into your mission, the sooner you will begin to see the ripple effects of your presence in the world. As we conclude this journey together, it's important to remember that being one of the chosen ones is not a destination, it's a journey. A journey of unfolding, of growth, of continual alignment with the divine purpose you carry. You've been marked by the divine, chosen to carry this sign, and now it's time to fully step into that role. The world around you is changing rapidly. We are in a time of great spiritual awakening, and the chosen ones are being called to step forward like never before. Your mission is not just for you, it's for the collective. It's for humanity. Each action you take, each word you speak, each thought you cultivate has the power to influence the world in ways you can't yet see. But this power comes with responsibility. The chosen ones must live with integrity, with humility, and with a deep reverence for the divine energy that flows through them. It's not enough to recognize the sign, you must embody it. You must live it every day, in every moment. This is your calling. So as we close, I leave you with this question: are you ready? Are you ready to live as the chosen one you are? Are you ready to carry this sign with grace, with strength, and with love? The world is waiting for you. The time is now. Step into your role, fulfill your mission, and let your light shine. The divine within you is calling. Will you answer?